Well, last Thursday and Friday, we saw two different incidents where people with mental illness attacked other people.
One case in Madison, which led to the death of a mother and daughter, and another case in the town of Primrose, which led to two Dane County Sheriff's deputies being stabbed.
In both cases, investigators say the attackers suffered from mental health issues, and officers killed both attackers.
So this brings up a wider issue. How common is mental illness? How often is it involved in violent crimes? And is there a way to keep this from happening again? NBC15's Britni McDonald met with the National Alliance on Mental Illness and the Madison Police Department this afternoon to get some answers.
Well, Lee, mental illnesses have been thrust into the spotlight more recently, and yet, as NAMI told me today, there's still a stigma they're fighting. It's an issue they say needs more attention, and police say they're trained for.
It's not rare. It's very common. It's hidden.
Bonnie Logren with NAMI works closely with those suffering from mental illnesses.
We never turn people away.
And it's a lot of people. 1 in 4 suffer from a mental illness. Logren says mental health facilities are full, doctors are lacking, and funding is low.
They might get evaluated as having a mental illness, so then they want to get treatment, and there is none.
So right now, it comes down to awareness and education.
But I do know that there's another way to approach people with mental illness.
Logren says in most cases, those with mental illnesses are not violent, being involved in just 4% of violent crimes.
People with mental illness generally don't attack unless they feel like they're being attacked.
It's about getting those with mental illnesses help, and that begins with recognizing signs.
It's not too hard to identify that somebody's having some kind of a mental health crisis.
In last week's incidents, Londrell Johnson threatened neighbors in the past. He had a record of disorderly conduct over the past decade, on top of a history of mental illness. Dean Kankamo suffered from long-standing schizophrenia. But for a real impact, that awareness and education needs to be met with law enforcement.
What's happened over time then is that the criminal justice system has really sort of become, unfortunately, the de facto mental health providers in many ways.
It's something Captain Kristen Roman says officers are trained in specifically.
We are able to do a lot of scenario and role-based training to have officers practice communication skills, de-escalation, and really work toward a resolution with these kinds of situations that involves the least amount of force possible. Sadly, sometimes the only option left for them is deadly force.
If you or someone you know struggles with mental illness, you can contact NAMI for help. That information can be found on our website.